sorry, Jack. It was either you or me. Honestly, I don't know what came over me.
You snotty little bastard.
Alright, let's get ready for another video. Got Jack. All the lights are good. Let's do it. Before I get started... Oh, shit. Not again. What do you want from me? I've already played your stupid game.
Yes, but you didn't learn anything. I want to play another game. By the end of this review, you'll have to make a decision. Either continue to tell the truth in your videos and eventually be destroyed, or fall in line and obey the rules, and tell everyone exactly what they want to hear. It's your choice.
This is bullshit. Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Come on. Do it! Do it!
So James Wan's new horror film, Malignant, is coming out this week. So I thought it would be a good time to revisit the horror film that put him on the map. Because this franchise has been watered down by so many pointless sequels, I think a lot of people forget how important and influential the first Saw movie was. After the success of this movie, every movie studio was looking for the next Saw.
What about you guys? We ain't found shit.
I don't think James Wan gets enough credit for how he almost single-handedly kicked off two modern horror eras. He kind of redefined the demon possession movie with movies like Insidious and The Conjuring. And before that with Saw, he actually kicked off the torture porn phase of the early 2000s. Although I would argue that the first Saw movie is actually much more of a psychological thriller that's kind of been mixed with a slasher that's also been mixed with situational horror, with a little bit of police procedural mixed in for good measure.
That makes sense.
The Saw franchise didn't really become torture porn to me until the sequels happened. Also, I think it's no coincidence that every time James Wan starts a franchise and then eventually leaves it, the quality of the sequels typically goes down. He brings an intelligence and a sense of unpredictability to his horror movies. They are anything but cliche. In fact, I would say even specifically with Saw, the movies he tends to make are game changers. The original Saw just doesn't get enough credit to me for how unique it is. This could have just been a 7 copycat, and don't get me wrong, it has elements of that type of movie. Jigsaw is punishing people, and he's trying to teach them a lesson. He's trying to teach them to appreciate what they have. On the surface, that seems like a great message. But Jigsaw kind of twists these teachable moments into these sick, twisted games that he plays with people. Games that could result in people killing themselves or someone else. That's another interesting thing about Jigsaw. He's not physically committing the act of murder. He's basically mentally breaking people until they do crazy shit on their own.
If he dies, he dies.
From the moment that this movie starts, the audience has no choice but to be invested. When we're instantly introduced to seemingly two strangers who are waking up in a strange place shackled to pipes. They have no idea how they got there, and they're just as lost as the rest of us. How does that not grab your attention? The other thing that I kind of love about this movie is that it's a bit of a slow build. The audience gets clues to unlocking the mystery of this movie the same way that the characters do. So it's kind of like you're trapped in the room with them in a sense. We slowly get to learn about Dr. Gordon and Adam, the two guys who are trapped in the room, and we get a sense of who they are, what they've been through prior to this moment in time, and how their stories kind of overlap even with them not knowing initially. And we get to kind of put it all together and figure out why they're in this situation in the first place. They're just victims at the start of this, but by the end of it, they're flawed victims. There's areas of gray with almost everyone in this movie, and that's always a good thing to me. We also have Danny Glover's police detective character, who is kind of like the Captain Ahab to Jigsaw's Moby Dick.
I'm too old for this shit.
He becomes so obsessed with finding Jigsaw that he eventually loses his job and resorts to harassing people and spying on people just to get information about Jigsaw. And the way that this case kind of consumes his character just makes Jigsaw look more and more like an evil genius. It builds his legend throughout the course of the movie. I also like how the movie breaks up the trapped in one room dynamic by showing us flashbacks that are all pieces to the puzzle that we need to put together. That really helps the film not to feel tedious and redundant. We also get a glimpse of some of Jigsaw's previous victims and traps. So we get a sense that this isn't his first time, and this is a crusade that he's been on for quite some time now. I think the cast of this movie is pretty great actually, just one gripe aside. Tobin Bell is absolutely iconic as Jigsaw, and he's barely in the movie, at least to our knowledge. Cary Elwes is always great to see in a movie, and this, at the time, felt like a very big departure from what he would normally do.
As you wish.
Of course, Danny Glover is great as always. Lee Winnall as Adam is the only strange casting choice in this movie, I think. I mean, he wrote the movie, I get it, but from an acting perspective, he does stand out a bit and not in a good way. Some of his lines do come off a bit hammy, and honestly, he's probably the film's biggest weakness from an acting standpoint. His writing was on point, though. I have to mention one really cool scene that basically had James Wan written all over it. You could see that this scene was a precursor to what he would eventually become. It became one of his hallmarks. And I'm talking about the camera flash you see in a dark room scene. It's a very defining moment in this movie, and it makes it very clear that you're watching a James Wan horror movie. He's very good at these drawn-out scenes that slowly build suspense. I don't think I'm spoiling anything when I say this movie has a twist ending that's one of the best that I've ever seen. No one, and I repeat no one, could have predicted Jigsaw's whereabouts in this movie. If you say that you did, then I'm going to have to call you a liar.
You sit on a throne of lies.
This ending is a great example of how to subvert expectations properly. You think it's going one way, but no, it's going to go in a different direction and blow your mind in the process. Saw is an underrated movie, and don't let these countless sequels fool you into thinking otherwise. This is a fantastic horror movie that's actually much more than a horror movie. It's actually bigger than just one genre, and there's a reason that this movie has stood the test of time. Because it was an original idea that talented filmmakers were allowed to go all in on without restrictions. That's why I'm going to give the original Saw the pleased Palpatine.
Good.
So have you seen Saw? I'm sure you have. If you have, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Alright, I'll do it. I'll tell you whatever you want to hear.
The keys are in the dead body next to you.
Disney, fuck, I can't do it. Disney's garbage. Thanks for watching.
Y'all be cool. Right on.